Say, did you know that prison is a pretty good place for criminals to be? That's the moral of tonight's lesson plan. As cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is it. Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And tonight's lesson plan is a movie called Roofman. It stars Channing Tatum. Now, folks, some years back, Channing Tatum starred in a movie called Magic Mike. This is a movie that was absolutely dreadful. In fact, I'll tell you how dreadful it was. It's the last big press screening they had that I got up and walked out on. All right. I mean, there was only so much, and I had brought some guests, and I was about an hour into the movie, and it had over an hour left, and I said, you know what, I really can't take this anymore. This is just horrible. I'm going to leave. They said, no, we're going to stay. Women. So, so they did. Uh, and I tried to sneak out quietly because, it doesn't look good when the critic gets up and leaves. But this movie was just bad. And naturally, one of my fans saw me leaving. And they said, oh, I got enough of this one off of you. I was like, oh, geez, why did you have to say something, Anyway, I told you that story to let you know that since that movie, which seemed to be some kind of a magic spell for women. They just loved this movie because of all the handsome stars who were cavorting around in the au naturel. Okay, but since that movie, Channing Tatum has felt obligated to do nude scenes in his movies. I guess that's where his fan base basically originates, and he caters to that base. So, what we have here is a very simple story about some strange events that supposedly actually occurred, and yeah, there's got to be at least three different scenes that Channing decides to disrobe. Do they add anything? No, absolutely not. They're in there just so women, possibly young girls, and certainly middle-aged women who um, don't see it anymore, can look at a real nice, tight little butt on a guy. So that's basically what it's there for. What else is the movie about? Glad you asked.
This movie is a true story about someone that is unbelievably brilliant at lying.
The Roofman is returned to rob again.
Jeffrey Manchester robbed 45 McDonald's.
Holes cut into the roofs, workers told to get into the coolers, but no one was hurt.
He gave you his coat. Yeah, you didn't want me to be cold.
Sentenced to 45 years in prison. Jeff's genius and his guts is what broke him out of prison.
Find a safe place to hide.
Of all the places, he hid inside a Toys R Us for 6 months. And no one recognized him.
He sets up cameras and watches us a little bit like he's watching a soap opera.
We're missing a lot.
Peanut M&Ms.
He falls for me and feels my pain.
I wanted to invite you to my toy drive.
We sell toys here, we don't give them away.
Kind of draws him out of his hiding spot. The last thing you think is that the person that you're dating is an escaped convict.
And this chaos ensues.
Got to cover your tracks, Jeff. We don't need to change that hair.
I think we do a wig.
If he tells the truth, everything that he has goes away.
You got your passport?
You got to leave tonight. We can't just stay. Oh, hell.
You're starting over.
Such a fascinating story, both hilarious and heartbreaking.
He was talented and smart and just made some bad decisions.
And when he tries to run, we'll be ready.
Good luck.
Hey, starring along with Channing is Kristen Dunst. And I got to tell you that this movie, right about when it gets into the middle of chapter two, really begins to slow down and become bogged down. By this time, we've already seen our one obligatory nude scene, and the other two are in there, and you know, or the same old, unless, like I said, you're a middle-aged woman, and it just becomes a little bit nonsensical for it to drag out that long. Some judicious editing may certainly have helped. You know what they do in this movie is a little ploy that they incorporate on a lot of movies that are based on real events, and that is that while they're showing the end credits, they put up the actual pictures of the people who were involved in this whole escapade. As always, they never live up to the look that the stars can convey. And perhaps if they did, we'd feel a little bit more empathy.
This is a true story.
Tell me what's going on right now. The Roofman robbed his 45th McDonald's.
Good morning, team.
We shot the film down in Charlotte, North Carolina. I believe in immersion of the actors as if they were in the real world. And so I cast so many of the real people from the real story.
I was the original driver that Jeffrey Manchester escaped upon. He studied the truck coming in every day. He just walked right up in there and got up out of the truck.
People came to my office and said that the man that I had been dating was on America's Most Wanted. He'd spend time with the kids. He was so nice. Everyone embraced him.
I love having so many new friends.
Of course, no one knew he was on the run.
Find a safe place to hide for a few months.
He got involved in our church. There was nothing about him that led me to think, gosh, there's something here.
I understand you work for the government.
So it's a little classified, so.
Never knew there was an intelligence unit here in Charlotte. The goal at that point was to figure out where he was and to capture him.
What the? Oh my God!
It's really easy to evade the police when they don't know who you are. But once they identify you, the clock's ticking.
This being a true story is the only way that you can make this movie. It's too crazy otherwise.
I need you to take the ink bomb out. If I do that, it'll blow up. Now I have to do it quick. Oops.
You know, the old adage is that crime doesn't pay, and a lot of times the reason for that is because a lot of the criminals are, they're not too savvy. Okay, dare we say sometimes they're stupid and they do stupid things. This movie is like that. Okay, the criminals are, yeah, pretty dumb, and you'll sit there scratching your head, realizing, yeah, this could have happened, and it illustrates that adage even more. These guys just, they weren't that smart. Okay, so it's when they get caught, it's like, oh, here's my surprised face.
They built this actual Toys R Us to the absolute inch. Jeffrey Manchester robbed 45 McDonald's, ended up living in a toy store for 6 months.
One of the things we had to do on this film was recreate a Toys R Us. So that meant we had to go down to North Carolina and find a big box store that we could turn into a Toys R Us.
Almost everything is actually functional, has real merchandise.
She sourced actual toys from the time.
People would come to the Toys R Us and walk in wanting to buy toys. And we had to go, sorry, this is a movie set.
There's a level of authenticity that's unspoken when you get to shoot in the actual places.
Everything was real. I hope you feel it in the movie. I really hope you do.
It's a lot of fun to see Channing Tatum set loose in a toy store.
So Roofman becomes very, very preachy at the end. In fact, the preaching from all the main characters becomes a bit tedious during the final reels, and it's like, okay, we got the story, wrap it up, we don't need these lectures, but you get them nonetheless. And as I stated in the teaser open, it basically says that, you know what, jail and prison is a really good place for criminals to be. Wow. Long cry from angels with dirty faces, isn't it? It certainly is. Folks, bottom line on this, what we have here is basically a streamer movie. Okay, this is not a movie that for any reason you need to go out and spend some good money and watch it on a big screen, um, unless you're really one of those horny middle-aged women. I'm looking for your cheap yayas there. Other than that, this is in olden days I would have said it's a Lifetime movie, and that certainly fits. But nowadays everything's streaming, so this one it can come on the streamers. One you probably already subscribe to, so in essence it's already paid for. And if you want, you can watch it then. It's a around the second chapter, you're going to start doing other things and just use it as background noise till you get to the end. And then when they start preaching, background noise again. It's that kind of a movie. Fits well on the small screen. No need for the big screen. We're going to give it a D. It was below average and not real exciting. And now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your list.